Hey guys, I am very heavy-hearted today, and I had a video that I had done for you earlier in the week, and I was going to share it with you, and I just feel like I have it on my heart to say, when tragedy hits and you can't figure things out, because we're always trying to figure things out on our own and trying to figure out why this happened and why did it have to happen and why did God allow it to happen and so on and so on. And with things like Las Vegas, and I've heard of a recent young child taking their life in the city where I went to college, just very heavy heart. I want to say in my own experience, I didn't find peace until I stopped trying to figure it out. Because the reality of it is we will never figure it out because we don't and we can't think like God. And so I finally found my peace in knowing there's only one God and I'm not him. And there's some things about my story and there's some things about your story that we will never understand, that they really just don't make sense. And I remember I just decided in my own walk when I had broken so many of my own promises to myself and so many other people. And, you know, sometimes when you break every promise you've ever made to yourself and others and the people that are close to you, you can decide to let that ruin you, or you can decide to take a stand and stand on the promises that you know will never be broken. And the only promises that I know of that will never ever be broken for sure are God's promises. So I'm thinking about Romans 8:28 today, and it says this: God works all things to the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. And in the midst of some of my deepest struggles and my lowest points, I just clung to two things. I knew that I loved God, and I knew that I had a purpose. Everything else I didn't know. Everything else I couldn't figure out. And so if you're in that place, if you knew someone in Vegas that their life was tragically taken from them in this senseless violence, and you're trying to make sense of it, if you've had someone near you take their own life and you can't figure it out, sometimes the only peace I was able to find was just giving it to God and saying, you know what, I will never figure this out. And it doesn't make sense to me. But I just knew that even the worst things in my life, God can work for the good somehow, some way. We may never even see it. We may never even see the good that comes out of something bad that happened to us. But we can stand on Romans 8:28 and knowing that God can work all things for the good, those that love him and are called according to his purpose. So maybe today we can find some peace in that. And I also want to say, I don't think it's a time for political agendas. And I remember hearing that people in Vegas were driving by and just picking up people that were shot and wounded and putting them in their car and taking them to the hospital, because how could ambulances get to that many injured people, right? And I just want to throw this out there. I doubt that the driver of those vehicles in Las Vegas were asking the wounded, are you a Democrat or are you a Republican? I doubt they were worried about their political viewpoints when they were dragging these injured people into their cars. And I'm just so sick of people treating other people differently because they have a different opinion about a political view or a religious view. And you know what? We all bleed the same. We all bleed the same. And when tragic events like this happen, it does not matter if you're Democrat or Republican. And that's all I got to say about that. Hope you guys have a great week, and I'll talk to you next week.